So let's start with the most important question first. What is CSS? CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets, and I'll come back to that name and why it's called cascading later in the course once we know a bit more about it from a technical perspective. But the core idea behind CSS is that it makes your web page look good. Your web page typically consists of HTML, right? This is how you structure your web page. This is how you add content and show content on your web page. HTML is absolutely required. There are no web pages without HTML. CSS, on the other hand, is optional because CSS allows you to style that HTML content. It allows you to add colors, shadows, all kinds of visual effects, position elements differently. So basically, it allows you to turn your boring HTML page into an exciting, good-looking website. Let's have a look at this and let's see what exactly CSS can do for us. Attached to this video, you'll find a zip file which contains a HTML, a CSS file, as well as an image. Now, if you double-click that HTML file, simply double-click it, it will open a browser and you will see this. Now, this is a fully functional web page. It simply contains just HTML, but all the content is there, and if we were a user, it doesn't look good, but we could use it, we could work with that, we understand what the website is trying to tell us. However, we want it to look better, and that is where the CSS file comes into play. In your HTML code, and here I opened it with Visual Studio Code, which is the IDE we'll use in this course. You can open it with any text editor on your operating system. Just make sure you open it as plain text, but you may also use any favorite IDE you have. So if you open that file, this is the HTML code you see. Now let's add some CSS to it. And conveniently, I already provide you with that CSS file in that code.css file, which also is part of the zip file. There you see a bunch of things you probably don't know yet, and we'll walk through all these things in detail throughout the course. Now let's include that file by simply copying all the content in there, going back into the HTML file, and in the head section right before it's closed, you add the style element. So simply opening and closing style tag. Now between these two tags, copy in the content from the other CSS file, save the HTML file, go back to your browser, and reload. And this is exactly what CSS is all about. Doesn't this look much better? It does. And that's exactly why you use CSS. This now does not only contain the content, but it's also way more pleasant to the eye. So we'll learn all about this throughout the course. And with that, let's learn a bit more about what exactly CSS is and where it's coming from.